We interrupt programming on WGRZ Plus for this Two on Your Side special report as we bring you a live look of Niagara Square in downtown Buffalo this morning, where a crowd is gathering right now for what's being called the No Kings protest. It's part of a nationwide demonstration happening in cities across the U.S. today. And we thank you for joining us here on WGRZ Plus this Saturday. I'm Rob Hackford. Well, today's protests are the second major gathering organized by the movement 5051. A progressive grassroots organization. And back in June, 5051 organized the first No Kings Day protest, where many similar demonstrations were held, including in Buffalo. The group has emerged in opposition to President Donald Trump and various actions he's taken since re-entering office. Opponents have criticized the movement, labeling it as anti-American and trying to brand participants as extremists. Supporters say the movement is about standing up for democracy and protecting civil rights. Organizers have discouraged violence and say they expect peaceful demonstrations across the country today. We're taking another live look of Niagara Square, where crowds are gathering this morning. Quite a few people there along the steps of City Hall, around the McKinley Monument as well in Buffalo, as this is one of 2,000 locations around the country that are expected to take part in these No Kings Day protests. Again, that live look there as crowds have been gathering. We saw them gathering since around 10 a.m. this morning when organizers were arriving. About 11:01 now as these events are supposed to be kicking off between 11 o'clock and noon on this Saturday as part of this second protest series. And you may remember that back in June, hundreds, if not thousands, marched through downtown Buffalo for the first No Kings Day protest. Just like today, organizers said that day of action was aimed at, quote, defending democracy, protecting rights, and standing together against authoritarianism, end quote. Opponents, again, including Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson this week, have described the rallies as hate America and pro-Hamas gatherings. Previous demonstrations in Western New York have been peaceful. Police have been present and working with these groups. Yesterday, Acting Mayor Chris Scanlon said the city of Buffalo is prepared for these large crowds with road closures around Niagara Square to keep everyone safe.
The city of Buffalo is working with the event organizers to make sure that things go off without incident, and it's a nice, smooth event for everyone. Department of Public Works, Buffalo Police Department, working with the different organizers. This isn't the first time they've had this event. It went off perfectly last year, no incident. So continue to work with them to make sure that they have the event on tomorrow on Saturday with no issues.
No problems with traffic, anyone?
Yeah, more than 2,100 rallies are planned across the country in total. And again, one of them is happening in Buffalo. That's where we're heading out to Channel 2's Alyssa Clazel, who is live in Niagara Square. Alyssa, I've been hearing you speaking with some of the folks that have gathered there. What are you hearing? What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, hey there, Rob. So this event literally just got underway here, and you can see we've already got a pretty sizable crowd. Signs, flags, some even holding costumes or somewhat. And we're hearing from speakers now. Okay, we're hearing from speakers now who are speaking. That just got underway here. But again, this is something that's coming off of another protest a few months ago in June. We saw about 3,000 demonstrators during that No Kings demonstration, and organizers say it could be even more. And this is something that's organized by over 30 really co-sponsors here in Buffalo. They're labor unions, they're political organizations, volunteer organizations, and much more here. They tell me they're here to protest recent moves by the Trump administration. They say that they're here to basically protest against executive overreach. They say we're facing an authoritarian slide here in our country. And again, these organizers are expecting millions of demonstrators across the country today. This is a movement that's not just happening here in Niagara Square today, but it's happening in cities across the country today. This is just one of them here, and it's all happening right in the middle of a government shutdown, increased immigration raids.
And these are some of the other protests. We lost Alyssa there in Niagara Square. Cell coverage often during these events can cause complications with our signal at getting back to the station. That might be the case here. We'll touch base with Alyssa in just a little bit here. But again, these are some of the other protests that are happening throughout the day today. And speaking with organizers of these No Kings protests at Buffalo, in Niagara Square, 11 a.m. Williamsville as well. There's a gathering happening there at Amherst Town Hall, also at 11. In Tonawanda, at the corner of Niagara Falls Boulevard and Brighton Road. That event and protest is happening at noon. Lockport at South Transit Road and Scheimer Drive, also at 11 a.m. this morning. And then in Batavia, at Batavia City Hall, that event will be happening at noon. We also heard from a few of you on social media reaching out on Facebook that there's an event happening in Olean later today as well. Now, this, again, part of the second effort by these No Kings protest and organizers, the demonstration that previously happened back in June. They're doubling down on this as they bring more people out to places like the city of Buffalo, Amherst, North Tonawanda, Olean, Batavia as well. Organizers say this day is broadly to reject what they describe as President Donald Trump's authoritarian agenda. End quote. The protest is happening amid the ongoing government shutdown now in day 17, immigration raids, and the National Guard being deployed in cities across the U.S., Chicago, Baltimore, Memphis as well. Sherelle Hubbard is reporting for us now on some of the lead up and reaction to this day's events.
The No Kings protest returns Saturday. This was the scene in June when some 5 million people across the U.S. took to the streets to protest the Trump administration. Organizers say this weekend will be even bigger, with more than 2,500 demonstrations in all 50 states.
I support the right of every single American to participate in the rallies that are going to take place this week. And showing up to express dissent against an out-of-control administration. That's as American as motherhood, baseball, and apple pie.
The protests take place against the backdrop of the ongoing government shutdown, tension over immigration raids, and federal troops being deployed to Democratic-led cities. Republican leaders are calling Saturday's protests anti-American.
The No Kings rally this weekend, do you think you can make progress once that's over?
I sure hope so. Are you talking about the Hate America rally? That's what we call it, because it'll be a collection of Antifa, BLM, the Marxist, wild leftist policy priorities, and that'll be on display for the whole country.
Organizers say they're planning for peaceful demonstrations, in clear contrast to the Trump administration's show of force.
It's because they are worried that they are losing their grip on power. They are worried that other people in blue states, red states, and purple states, in rural communities, in Trump country, are going to see the public doesn't support this, and that makes them scared.
Organizers say Saturday will be the largest single-day protest in modern history. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Now, thank you, Sherelle. Again, more than 2,000 rallies is similar to the one happening in Buffalo are planned across the country as part of this national No Kings movement. Now, that includes Charlotte, and we're going to take a live look now at the coverage there from our sister station, WCNC.
June, we're expecting more people today as folks, for instance, in First Ward Park in Uptown, were there for hours before it was slated to start. And we showed the aerial view of so many people up high. But this is a look at downtown Waxhaw right now. You see folks there with the American flags. I'm going to see if I can read some of the signs. One sign says No Kings. The other sign I can read, I can tell my grandchildren I did not stay silent. I can tell my grandchildren I did not stay silent. So I'm trying to filter out some of these signs and make sure they are appropriate to read. And I just want to put this out there in case you see something that is inappropriate. I just want to let you know that that could be the case and give you a heads up. This is a raw, unfiltered video, unedited video. This is what Live Impact News is. So that could happen. Were you about to say something, Jeb?
We're in Uptown now.
Okay, Uptown. This is a live look in Uptown. All right, so this is a ground level shot there in Uptown as that march continues. Bria Smith has been keeping up with the folks there in Uptown, talking to several folks. One guy in a President Trump costume, along with a woman who was dressed as Lady Liberty. Again, folks with different reasons, but all under the same umbrella, pushing back against the Trump administration. So you see folks there making their way through Uptown. This is a 1.1 mile march through Uptown. that folks are making their way after a rally. There was a rally earlier in First Ward Park where we heard from several speakers. We also had a young lady sing before the march officially kicked off. You see Bria Smith there talking to folks, getting a real sense of what's happening there on the ground. Are we ready to take Bria?
Stand by, Bria.
All right, so let's go to Bria. She's talking to somebody right now. Let's take a listen in.
Awesome, and we can walk and talk.
Yeah, sure.
So talk to me a little bit about, why you're here today. I see your sign. I hear you chanting. The energy is high. What are you feeling so far?
What could I start at? One, I'm from New York, so I know all about Donald Trump. So I already knew he was full of, excuse my language, full of shit. Just look at where we are now in the country. Everything's getting taken away from us. Now, soon our voters' rights get ready to be taken away from us. I mean, like, when is it ever going to stop? You know, the GOP, they don't care about us. They don't care about the poor. They don't care about the middle class. All they worry about is the rich. You know, like God said, he said, you take care of everyone. Right. You take care of everyone in the world. And I don't, it's just sad what's going on.
Yeah, those are some of the sights and sounds from Charlotte, our sister station down there, speaking with a member of the public there in that protest for these No Kings Days rallies. We're going to take a quick break and head back into downtown Buffalo, Niagara Square, as we hear from some of the speakers here in Western New York in just a bit. But we'll be back in just a short break. We are back now for this Two on Your Side special report as we bring you a live look of Niagara Square in downtown Buffalo, where crowds are gathering for the No Kings Day protests. This movement, a progressive movement that's happening nationwide. This is the crowd that has been gathering since about 10 a.m. this morning. 11 a.m. was the official kickoff of this. We want to take you right onto the ground to listen in to what we've been hearing as this protest has been getting started. We appreciate you joining us here on WGRZ+. I'm Rob Hackford. A major gathering organized by the 50-51 movement, progressive grassroots organization. We want you to take a listen to what people are saying here down in Niagara Square as this event gets underway.
Hey there, Rob. Yeah, we're here in Niagara Square, and this crowd is growing minute by minute as folks flood into the square with their signs, their flags, and speakers are now speaking in the square. And one thing I want to point out is that they're trying to keep this crowd contained in Niagara Square because the streets are open. But I just want to reference to the No Kings protest in June, where the crowds really just spilled out into the square, into the streets, and they marched around in a circle. We do know that there will be a march happening here. Folks are going to march down Delaware Avenue here up to Tracy Street and then loop back down through Elmwood and end up back here in Niagara Square. And while I'm pointing here, I want to point out the Buffalo police presence. That's something I know we mentioned earlier. Acting Mayor Scanlon said there would be police presence. He expected this to be peaceful as it was in June. So there are, again, Buffalo police present here. But then again, take a look at this crowd here in Niagara Square as we walk around here. I'm going to loop around. Last June, there were about 3,000 people here. Organizers say that there could be even more people than that last year. Folks are coming from all over to be here today for miles, some local to Buffalo, some not, but making the drive to Buffalo today to be at this protest. And they say, again, they're protesting the Trump administration, his policies that have been put forth. This is all happening in the backdrop of a government shutdown, increased immigration raids here, and also the deployment of federal troops in cities. But as we take a loop around here, you'll notice that the crowd varies, right? People, some signs are for environmental causes, some signs are for against those immigration raids. But regardless of this cause, people say that they're here to express their freedom of speech, their right to protest here today. And again, we're looping you around here because I just want to show you the magnitude of this crowd, and it's only expected to grow here as we get underway. Again, there are expected to be political leaders here. We haven't seen any yet, but we know that that was rumored to was going to happen today. And yeah, Rob, you're seeing this from a bird's eye view in the studio here. What do you think of this crowd size?
Yeah, I mean, given the fact that we've had a bird's eye view, as you mentioned there, Alyssa, quite a similar crowd to what we saw in June, if not a little smaller. Again, it's tough to judge the volume of people until really after the fact. Event organizers have, pushed the numbers often, or often, eager to make their crowd as large as possible. I'd be curious to know, Alyssa, have you seen anyone out there in opposition to these calls for no kings? If there have been any counter-protesters out there. I know Buffalo police are unseen. It's been safe and seems very calm at the moment, but be curious to know if you've seen any of that.
Yeah, Rob, I haven't seen any counter-protesters quite yet. I will say back in June when this No Kings protest occurred, there were some cars that would drive around the square with Trump flags, but we're not seeing that. I would keep an eye on this parking garage here right next to City Hall because, again, back in June we did see some counter-protesters on top of that parking garage with pro-Trump signs and things of that nature. I do see people there right now, but again, I'm not sure, who they're with or, what exactly their cause is. But no, so far, no counter-protesters, and this is very peaceful so far, and that's something that organizers had stressed in the days leading up to this protest. They said that this would be a peaceful, nonviolent demonstration, and that's a sentiment being echoed by all of the demonstrations and protests happening around the country today, that they want this to be peaceful, nonviolent. And I'm going to show you something really quick, too. You'll see folks in yellow vests here, right? They're really mainly here to kind of de-escalate the crowd, and they're looking for if situations get a little too volatile or something like that, they're looking out for that so they can kind of de-escalate the situation here and kind of keep the peace. So far, no counter-protesters, Rob, and again, there are folks out here working to keep the peace if need be.
Yeah, and Alyssa, I'd be curious to know what the discourse has been like. I heard you speaking with at least one person so far. You mentioned the various causes that they're in support of, whether it be environmental, energy, whether it be their opposition just plainly to President Trump being in office once again. What has that discourse been like, or what have people been talking about as they gather for this? What's been their focus?
Yeah, Rob, I mean, really the message has been quite simple in what, of course, is a complicated, many complicated issues happening across our country. Really, the sentiment is no kings. That's what folks are saying here. They say that they are fighting against the slip into what they think is authoritarianism. And in these flags, you see people saying, I support the Constitution, I don't support the president. Some people are saying, I love America. So there's really kind of, again, a mix of what folks are saying, but in this mix, and of course it's all complicated, it makes itself quite simple. They say they are against tyranny, again, protesting the president. This flag right here says, not my president, really protesting the Trump administration here. And again, their policies against immigration, their policies bringing in federal troops into American cities, things of that nature. Also things like healthcare. We saw the 1199 SEIU chapter here just not too long ago. They're obviously very strong advocates for healthcare, and that's been a big talker here as well.
All right, thank you. That's Alyssa Clausell reporting live in Niagara Square for us this morning at this No Kings protest. As she mentioned there, Occupy Buffalo, the ACLU, as well as 1199 SEIU, many groups, local groups all coming together to have this event today. There are several other protests planned and happening in Western New York. This isn't limited to the city of Buffalo. In Tonawanda at noon, at Niagara Falls Boulevard and Brighton Road, there's set to be a No Kings protest. In Lockport, a rally is already happening along South Transit Road and Shimer Drive near Walmart. Protest is also planned at noon outside Batavia City Hall. Olean is also taking part in this. We're going to take a quick break from our live coverage for you, but we'll be back in just a bit with more on these No Kings Day protests and the special report here on WGRZ+. Stay with us. And we welcome you back to this live special report from WGRZ and 2 on your side as we bring you another live look of Niagara Square in downtown Buffalo, where this crowd has been gathering since about 10 o'clock this morning for what's being called the No Kings protest, a part of a nationwide demonstration happening in cities across the U.S., including in Buffalo, Batavia, Jamestown as well. And we want to thank you for joining us here. I'm Rob Hackford. We're going to head right out to Niagara Square this morning with our reporter Alyssa Clausell, who's there with an organizer of this event, this progressive grassroots organization and an event that's being planned. Alyssa, give us what you've seen and this organizer that you're speaking with.
Yeah, hey there, Rob. So again, this protest is growing by the minute here. Folks are still flooding into Niagara Square with signs, and speakers are speaking now as this event really gets underway. And I want to bring you Kate Powers here. She's an organizer of this demonstration today. Hey there, Kate. How are you doing?
Good, thank
What
you.
are we doing out here? What's the mission and the purpose of this demonstration?
So the mission and the purpose is to remind people that they are not alone, that if they are afraid, if they are concerned about what's happening, a lot of their neighbors feel the same way. We are saying no to kidnapping our neighbors off the streets without warrants. We are saying no to demolishing due process. We are saying no to cutting services for ordinary working people while we are enriching billionaires. We are saying that is unacceptable, and that we don't want a government that is run at the whim of a petulant, narcissistic old man.
And opponents to this demonstration have called this a Hate America rally.
Yep.
They've said that many people out here could be paid actors.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to people from here? Have they told you where they're from?
These are our neighbors. These are people who are healthcare workers. These are educators. These are members of different unions in Western New York. To my knowledge, nobody is a paid protester. I would protest this for free. I do protest this for free. I think that's true of everybody here. People are seeing First Amendment rights trampled. We still, for this moment, have freedom of assembly, and these people are exercising it.
And we know the turnout in June was a few thousand people. Are we expecting more today?
That's our hope. Yeah. We had, I think we had about 7,500 people in June, and so we're hoping to crack 10 if we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, again, there's going to be a march, right? You guys are going to march down Delaware and things of that nature. What are folks here telling you today? I know you kind of spoke to the sentiment of this protest, but I mean, as you're speaking to folks who have come out here today, what are they expressing to you?
I think people are hurt. I think people are afraid, and people are angry. They're seeing their fundamental rights abridged. They're seeing the last, the least, and the lost of us get trampled underneath the whims of this regime, and they're saying we're not okay with that.
All right, Kate Powers, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob, again, that was Kate Powers, an organizer for this demonstration. And speaking of Kate, she has organized things similar to this. She's organized Elbows Up for Canada rallies over at Niagara Falls, here in Buffalo. But this is, again, the latest demonstration happening here in Buffalo. No Kings. It's the second one off of the one that happened in June again. And Kate mentioned that she had about 7,500 people come out, just a few months ago. She said it could be more. We'll have to wait and see really as this grows, because we know that as time goes on, people are going to still come out. It's supposed to go till 1 p.m. It could go longer than 1 p.m. We really don't know at this hour how long this is going to last. But I do want to mention again, folks, they're spilling into the streets here. It's kind of hard to contain a crowd of this size and keep them all in the square as they start to fill the streets. But this is very peaceful. Again, there's folks in yellow vests who are volunteer peacemakers, and this is really all volunteer. Kate said that, again, she would do this for free. These are volunteer grassroots organizations out here today rallying these people, and there are speakers speaking right now. I don't know if we can see that right here, but this is going to be going on again until 1 p.m. The march has not even gotten underway here, but we will be there for that, and we'll bring you the latest. For now, live and on your side in Niagara Square, Alyssa Clausel, Channel 2 News.
No, thank you, Alyssa. Yeah, many different perspectives, of course, also with this event, different causes and concerns. Representative and Congresswoman Claudia Tenney from Western New York shared this morning in her response. Republican Congresswoman, quote, to everyone marching at the No Kings protest who supported Biden's rule by decree presidency. You defended censorship mandates and lawless power grabs. You're not against kings. You're mad. Yours lost his crown. We have not heard or seen comments from Congressman Nick Langworthy. We did speak to Congressman Tim Kennedy about his support for this exercise of free speech on Friday. Again, this event is expected to continue through the day in Buffalo and across Western New York. That crowd you saw in Niagara Square will be marching up Delaware Avenue for a portion of today as well, going until 1 p.m. as Alyssa mentioned. Jamestown, Batavia, North Tonawanda as well, also getting involved in this. Charlotte, North Carolina, Denver, Sacramento, many other cities with these protests engaged and people engaging in this. You've been streaming our live coverage on these No Kings Day protests for you. I'm Rob Hackford. We appreciate you joining us for this special report, and have a great day.